Hey YouTube land, it's Chancellor here doing another action figure review. Now before I continue, I just want to wish everyone a happy New Year's. I know I haven't really done any videos since I think it was just before Christmas. I've been busy and under the weather. I had a bit of a cold, so I didn't do any video recordings. I had planned to do a recording for some Jurassic World human figures with the Legacy collection figures, but I've been trying to find one of the missing parts to one of the figures, so I haven't really had a chance to do that video review. Hopefully I'll be able to find the missing part to one of the figures and be able to review it. If not, I'll just steam ahead and review it with the missing part, but just mention it in the video review. So, kicking off 2018, or not 2018, sorry, 2019. Kicking off 2019 is a retro Star Wars review for a figure set that came out in 2000 I want to say. It is the one that came out when episode 1 got released. Maybe it was 99 to 2000, I think. I'm not too sure. Actually, is there any dates? 1999. So just before 2000. And what that figure set is, it's a 2-pack. I'm not sure if it was exclusive in the States or a store exclusive, but it is the Chancellor Valorum figure and a Royal Senate Guard, which is the blue guy here. Now, I really picked up the set for the Senate Guard. Unfortunately, Valorum's uniform has gotten a bit of cobwebs on him. He fell off my table onto down the back of the table that he was standing on, and he ended up getting covered in cobwebs because this material that they used for his outer robe is kind of like a velvety kind of plush kind of velvet thing, so he's a magnet for, unfortunately, dog hairs and dust. So just bear that in mind if you're planning on picking him up. You can get a kind of Ming the Merciless thing, or even Jor-El, if you know the reference. This is in fact a figure of Terrence Stamp. Is it Jor-El or Jor-El? I can never remember which one it is. But if I remember correctly, I think he played Superman, Christopher Reeve's Superman's father in the old Superman films. But this is Chancellor Valorum. He's the guy that Palpatine supersedes. He was the guy in charge of the Senate, and Palpatine gets rid of him and replaces him with himself, and then he becomes the Grand Chancellor or whatever it is in front of the Senate. Figure is really cool. It's a really nicely sculpted, well put together figure, but the actual figure is, the character is boring. I don't have any bodice for him, but if I just bring in, the head sculpt is quite nice and is very close to nearly bang on Terrence Stamp. I don't think Terrence Stamp has dark eyebrows. I think he actually has grey eyebrows, just like the rest of his hair, but just to make it stand out, I think Hasbro went with the dark brown. He does have this outer robe on, and then he has this like monk's robe sort of thing with a belt, which is all removable, and he has a black suit underneath. And as I said, you can fold up the collar, give him a good old 50s, 60s sort of Ming the Merciless kind of look, if not even earlier. So he's pretty cool. He is articulated. You can't get arms up that much. Now the elbow bends are that kind of they have like the solid skin all the way over it, and it has a ratchety kind of joint on the inside. Same with the legs. The legs are the kind of solid chunky body, but there's no actual visible joint. It's hidden underneath, and it makes that kind of clicky sound like the old Barbie dolls used to. He does have boots. He doesn't really have anything. He has a waist swivel, but he doesn't have anything on the upper thigh, and he can do splits that much. And he has a bit of an ab crunch, and he has a ball jointed head. So he has swivels in the wrist and a hinge. Let's get his robe back into a more reasonable spot. Boom. So that is him. This peg, or this clip for his left hand top, or left hand part of the cloak tends to pop open a lot for some reason. I'm not too sure why. So if I just move him off to the side. This is the main guy I got this for. He comes with a rifle. He's the only one that comes with an actual accessory. Valorum doesn't actually come with anything. He can sort of wield it two-handed. The only way he can though is because the way this cloak is made, it's really awkward. So he does have a kind of a pointy figure on one side. I'm pretty sure what they did was they reused the Luke hands. There was a Luke on Tauntaun that had hands similar to this with the kind of pointy finger and a grip hand. So I think they reused those and just repainted them in the different colours. They're kind of like a gloved hand, so I think that's why they made use of them. So he's kind of fighting me at the moment. So if I just put the rifle into his hand, he does have a sort of grip hand, and he has that weird pointing finger hand. So he can sort of get two-handed poses. The only problem then is his robe is all over the place. He's really just designed to have this slung over the shoulder, or just have him hold it in one hand. He has no neck articulation because this whole piece is one big chunk from the neck here. He does have a waist swivel, which is really, actually sorry, he doesn't actually have waist swivel. He does have the joints though. You can actually feel the joint if you put your hand on the cloth, and if I bring up, you can actually see the joints. His body's just this entirely blue plastic. He does have jointed elbows as well, which swivel. I think the swivel is actually up higher on the bicep swivel. And then he has joints in the wrist and the rotation, but they're pretty pointless because they don't actually do anything. And because of the way the hand is sculpted, the actual joint on the wrist is pretty limited. But there is a joint on the wrist. And his feet, I'm not too sure if his feet don't swivel. He can do the splits a small bit, but they're hindered by the skirt. But let me just put his rifle back on him. And the main reason I got this guy is because he is a precursor to these guys, which again uses a similar cloak. He has the exact same body with the pointy hand, which is the Emperor's Royal Guard, and he has the exact same head issue. His head doesn't move, and you can see the similarities between them. The helmets are the same. They just got rid of the big thing on the top of the heads and basically made them a bit more streamlined for the helmet, and changed the colour from blue to red. So let's see if we can get him to stand. This guy does come with a, I think they're called a force prod or force spike or something like that. It's like basically looks like a giant cattle prod. He does come with one of those, but unfortunately didn't have it to dig it out at the time. And then just for sizing, I'm getting the old tape measure if I can get in to my review station. In fact, I'll just bring them up closer. So for size, he actually stands in around just under 13 inches, and the reason for that is it's a bit off camera, but he has this big plume on the top, as the helmet is kind of designed similar to that of a, or is it one of those, like, is it Greek soldiers, something like that? Or I don't think it's Roman. I don't think the Romans had the big plumed kind of things like that. I think they're more Russians or something along those lines. And then for Chancellor Valorum, I'll just bring my camera back a bit. He stands in just at under a hair under 12 inches. So they are designed for the 1:6 12-inch scale. Not a bad set. I do think it's pretty cheap to pick up. Loose. Boxed, I think they can be a bit pricey, but loose they tend to go for a lot cheaper. unfortunately, as I said, my poor Chancellor Valorum has been covered with bloody dog hair and dust from falling off the back of the table that I had sat him on previously. But all in all, he's a really good figure. If you're just a kind of a, if you want to get the, if you're a bit of a completist and you want to collect them all, then I do recommend picking them up. They are good. They do look good on the shelf as well. Most people probably would look at the Chancellor Valorum figure and kind of go, who the heck is this guy compared to the other two? The other guys are a bit more recognisable, especially the Royal Guard, the Emperor's Royal Guard, and then you can put two and two together and see how the other one looks exactly like him. So you can kind of see where they're going with. But like for people who kind of dislike or hate the the prequel trilogy, probably not a set for them unless you want to get the precursor to the Royal Guard, and that's it. As I did. But overall, really good set. I do recommend picking them up if you can. They are, as I said, fairly cheap on the second-hand market. You can't get them really brand new anymore since they were released in '99. But some second-hand shops or some specialty comic shops and stuff would probably have, or specialty toy shops that might have them still boxed. I'm not sure if they were a big seller when they first came out, so they could have been peg warming a lot. A lot of the Force or Episode 1 stuff tended to kind of peg warm or get sold, so they could have been one of the sets that were peg warm, because a lot of people probably wouldn't see any use for a senator figure unless you want diplomatic action with your figures. So there you go, guys. There's just a quick video review for the Supreme Chancellor Valorum and Royal Senate Guard. So hope you enjoyed this quick video review, and as I said, well, a belated Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy New Year to everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this video review, and please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Cheers!